Okay, so let's hope Matt is not watching this.
We are so thrilled to bring up our guest of honor. She is so incredibly kind, so incredibly talented. She is Chelsea Green.
That was so nice. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. How's it going?
Well, it's going well. I've got a crazy storm outside of my window right now, and one of my cats is trapped in this room, so something is bound to go wrong. But that's okay. That's totally okay.
We're live, and that's what happens, right? I mean, we're live, we're in color, it's all happening. Anyway, Chelsea, I feel like it's been a while since I got to see you in person. And I think the last time maybe the three of us were together was at FSCW, which is Fantasy Super Cosplay Wrestling, where you were none other than Catwoman.
So fun. And like, I didn't even know that cosplay wrestling existed. I know the cosplay world existed once I came into wrestling. But man, like doing that convention and dressing up as Catwoman and having everybody so into whatever character they were doing and playing and being able to like transform into that wrestler character was so cool. I loved it. I actually still have my whole Catwoman outfit like over here. I'm in my guest bedroom right now and I have it tucked away in my little bin of things.
There's going to be so many people that are going to be mad that you're not dressed up as Catwoman right now.
One oversight.
Day I will. Don't you worry. One day, but they're going to have to pay. It's going to be when I have a Patreon or an OnlyFans.
Fair enough. Now, I saw you had posted about that. Do you know which direction you're going?
It's funny because I actually expected to get everyone saying like, go OnlyFans in a creepy way. Shockingly, no, they did not say that. A lot of people said Patreon, but I was kind of hoping everyone would say OnlyFans. I've just noticed that speaking with a lot of the girls, it's just much more user friendly and kind of easier to interact with people. So now I'm really like struggling after everyone told me I should go with Patreon. I really don't know anymore.
Well, I mean, only time will tell, and either platform is very welcoming, and I'm sure you're going to do great on whichever platform you choose. So,
and I will say I'm a little bit upset with OnlyFans for, like changing the rules and banning like the sex worker stuff. I kind of feel like it's a little dirty. Like they're doing the sex worker industry dirty by building a whole platform on their backs and then taking it away from them. So that also is a negative for OnlyFans. So we'll see.
No, you're absolutely right. Thank you for reminding me about that because I completely forgot. And that is a huge issue because like you mentioned, these sex workers who, couldn't be in their industry for the past year during the pandemic, OnlyFans welcomed them with open arms. And not only that, took 20% of all of their profits. So
exactly. It's dirty, right? Like it really just makes me like kind of angry. And now you're going to say, oh, just because we need investors or whatever it is. Like, I don't like that. Whereas I feel like Patreon has been kind of welcoming everything to an extent. So I don't know, maybe, or at least they're not changing their rules all of a sudden.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, you can't just get rid of the people that created you. That's gross. Yeah. Ew, boo.
Right? Boo. And I think I'm like sensitive after being released for just sensitive to anything that kind of like leaves people jobless, right? Especially like right now, COVID is not over. The pandemic, we're not through it. So all these people who kind of are going to be sitting at home trying to figure out, again, trying to reinvent their world, like that sucks. And I know how that feels a little bit.
Yeah,
it does suck. But I will say the memes that came out of it were pretty good.
Oh my God, so good.
That's the only bright spot.
I did see a really good meme about like how Hollywood would be getting all their servers back.
Right. So that's the one I was thinking of.
You'll have to send it to me. I have not seen it. Well, to circle back real quick to FSCW, Steve wants to know if you were the Nolan or Burton Catwoman. I kind of feel like you were your own Catwoman. You were like a little bit of everything. I was a little bit of everything. And like, one thing that I tried not to do when I'm like
playing any characters or acting or whatever is like I try not to think too much about it and I just do what comes naturally.
Yeah,
and
of
that's
course.
what makes it fun in your own, right? If
Right.
and me being the hot mess and Impact, if I had have kind of like gone off of what other people were doing or whatever, it would have been a knockoff version instead of my own. That's kind of like anything that I do.
Right. Yeah. Good.
Now, outside of wrestling, do you have any other fandoms that helped shape you while you were growing up that you were super into? Were you super into Catwoman growing up?
Honestly, no. And this is one world that I've kind of, my eyes have been open to since wrestling and since being with Matt, because obviously,
Right.
obviously my fiance is very much into things. Lots of things. We've got like the Funko world, we've got the figure world, we've got the Ninja Turtle and the Ghostbuster and the Disney and Universal. Like he's just into so many things and I never was. And I'm starting to learn that there are these different fandoms and like people just are they jump head first into whatever it is that they love. And I love that. And, but no, I mean, I love Harry Potter. That's like,
Yep.
Yeah, that's like one thing that like, I guess when I was starting to date Matt, I realized like, oh, okay, maybe Harry Potter is my thing. But still, if you quiz me on everything in Harry Potter, I think that true fans would be a little bit upset with my knowledge. I own everything. I've read every book. I've seen every movie. I was there opening night for, everything. But still, that diehard, like, passionate fan is just not alive in me for anything.
So, and I'm sure you've mentioned this before, but what is your house and what is your Patronus?
Ooh, okay. So, definitely, well, here's the sad thing is like, I wanted to be like Gryffindor or Slytherin, but like I fell into Hufflepuff.
Oh, that's such a
and like the funny thing is a lot of people do say like, oh, me too. But yeah, it just makes me a little bit sad. I just wanted to be one or the other, but that's okay. What about you? What are you guys? Do you know?
I'm a Slytherin.
Oh, that's amazing. See, I'm so jealous.
I would think that I'm a Ravenclaw.
Oh, you're kind of like me. You're just an in-betweener, kind of just a floating on by. Yeah, I feel for you.
Well, I guess the big follow-up question for that, Chelsea and Milo, is do you guys go for the blended butterbeer or do you like the frozen, the hot? I mean, what are we doing in the park?
I am just like not the frozen, just like the plain old cold butterbeer. However, I just tried something where if you dump out half and then you put a shot of fire whiskey in.
Really? Okay, that's new.
You got to dump out half because butterbeer is a little too sweet.
Okay, so half and then fireball.
There's a fireball in there.
Okay, Milo, who's
are you bringing Fireball into Universal Studios?
No, they have shots of fire whiskey places.
Okay.
So if you find can you imagine? I would love that for me carrying a flask, and I might do that. I'm not saying I wouldn't do it, but they do sell fire whiskey in Diagon Alley at one of the little bars, and then at Hogshead in Hogsmeade.
Okay, noted. Right. Noted. Milo, how do you take your
It's frozen every time.
It's frozen. I'm a frozen too.
But
I'm a frozen too, yeah.
I have to ask you, Chelsea, did you know that at some Publixes and at Whole Foods, they actually sell a bottled version of Butterbeer?
What?
Yes.
No, I did not know this.
So I don't know if it's not at every Publix and it's sometimes hard to find, but yes. So go to Whole Foods and I forgot what the actual brand is called, but yes, they sell and actually at Cracker Barrel as well. I believe they have it. So Cracker Barrel and yes, so Cracker Barrel and we're not going to talk about food, but we will talk about drinks. Yes. So bottled butterbeer at Whole Foods and Cracker Barrel. So you can just take the bottles home and do your half and half at home.
Then I can figure out the perfect ratio.
Right. Wow. And you can drink responsibly.
Wow.
Hashtag or something. I don't know.
Yeah, whatever it may be. Milo, good looking out. Thank
you. I'm gonna go Google that after I get off here. That's really exciting.
And actually, I think I brought this up in my interview with Maria Kanellis. So after you try it, you can get with her and you guys can compare.
Okay. I will. I'll go to Ring of Honor and I'm gonna ask her about this.
Absolutely.
Perfect. I love it. So and so something that Milo and I are looking forward to, and since we are talking about Harry Potter and the parks and stuff, are you going to go to Halloween Horror Nights this year? Is that something you're interested in?
Absolutely. We actually just debated doing like the frequent. Oh, okay.
Kroger has them too. Kroger. Okay.
Kroger has them too.
Thank you, Victoria.
So I'm just debating getting the frequent fear pass. So Matt got that last year, but I didn't. I think we'll do that this year. And we're so busy now, like jumping full force back into wrestling. And then of course, like coming off of being released. So I think getting the frequent fear pass is going to be the best case for us so that we can just like go whenever, you know what I mean? Like,
absolutely. I have it.
I'm very excited though. Very, very excited. We've already got our first day planned. We do an annual Halloween Horror Nights with Cody and Brandy Rhodes. So we've got that planned. It's going to be, I think, the first like hurrah since the baby, I think. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm so excited.
Yeah. You gotta go express pass too.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I agree.
Absolutely.
I feel like there's no other way to do it. And I don't know about you guys, but like, I don't understand how the average human gets through more than like 2 houses or 3 houses if they don't.
Right.
You go in September on a Wednesday.
Hours anyway.
Yeah.
I always get the express and then we end up doing all the houses.
So much fun. Just still bitter about them taking away Bill and Ted. But it's okay. I mean, we're gonna get over it like someday. But I like miss Bill and Ted so much. That was like always one of my favorite things to like.
I know. We did go to like one of the last shows at Halloween Horror Nights, and so good.
Yeah, they need to bring it back. Bring it back, Universal. If you're watching, bring it back.
It was really cool when we went. I don't know like who tipped them off to Matt and Cody being there, but like in the show they put some like woo 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 thing in and like yeah, it was really cool. And I was just like, wait a sec, what? Like they're so good at like improv and everything. It's amazing.
Oh, I would have loved to have seen that. And he must have popped for that so much.
It was so great. Amazing. It was so great.
So, Milo, in the chat, okay, in the private chat, you put where you can find the good on you, Milo. So, but besides like going to parks, what would you say like is another of your favorite day off activities? Obviously, they're very few and far between. We know you guys are keeping incredibly busy, but if you do have a day off.
For me, if it's in Canada, it's usually going hiking. Of course, like I now haven't been in Canada I haven't been to Canada for 2 years and I haven't lived in Canada for 5, but that was always my go-to. I always hiked like numerous times a week. And then now I'm in Orlando and there's no such thing as a hike. And even if there was, I think I would die halfway up the mountain because it's 1,000 degrees. But I mean, I'm just always like trying to look for a new adventure and something for Matt and I kind of try to do like a date night a week. I mean, it never happens, but we try. We try and we try to go somewhere new and somewhere like romantic that we could dress up or like somewhere we could explore Orlando a little bit.
So where's the new like hot spot in Orlando that you guys like to go to?
Well, I mean, to be honest, right now, because like we were cooped up in our house for so long during the pandemic, it's all like Disney stuff. Okay. So we find a place at the top of the Riviera that if a lot of people think that the
Destino Tower.
Is that what it is?
Yes. Okay,
so there's a restaurant that overlooks Magic Kingdom that we always go to, and now California Grill. Yes. And that has such an amazing view, but this view is different. And it's, at the top of the building and it's got a rooftop terrace and you can take your drink out there and kind of like look over Epcot and Hollywood Studios and stuff. It's really cool.
That sounds awesome.
It is. Yeah, it is amazing.
Sweet.
It was based off, I think, Salvador Dali as well.
So cool.
Yeah,
Really?
it's amazing. Yes.
Sweet.
And then
Okay.
speaking of Disney, and obviously I'm a huge fan as well, and I know you and Matt are. But if you could have any Disney character officiate your wedding, which Disney character would it be?
I mean, I think it has to be Mickey. I would like Mickey and Minnie together, but I think like, see, here's the thing. I love Ariel because I'm such a beach person, and like I feel like I should have been a mermaid in my past life. But I don't want Ariel looking cute beside me in my wedding dress. So I think I'm not going to go for any of the princesses. They're really cute. Their faces are very symmetrical and perfect. So I'm not going to do that. We're going to go with Mickey or Minnie.
Good choices. Great choices.
Classic.
Classic. You got to go classic. I appreciate it.
You know, a fun fact, we were looking at getting, we weren't going to, but we were looking at getting like Star Wars characters and like how you do that. And Disney will not have a character like that unless you have the proper backdrop and surrounding.
Yes.
Really? Okay.
So you cannot have, Kylo Ren show up to your normal wedding. It would have to be themed in the proper area it's like they're wild about it. Yep. You cannot have Mickey dressed up in a safari outfit unless you have a safari wedding.
100%.
I guess it makes sense. I mean, you want to keep the magic alive, and I think that's a way to do it.
It's trying to keep the magic alive. It's very crazy. I learned all this stuff when I was looking up weddings because, of course, initially we had to get past the Disney weddings because that's what Matt wanted.
Okay.
So,
I'll talk to you about a huge Disney wedding secret when we get off the air.
You can't tell us now.
Can't. Well, all right. I'll tell you now.
Okay.
But right. So when is the wedding? Have you guys set a date yet?
Yeah, it's New Year's Eve.
Okay, New Year's Eve. Okay, so
that's so soon.
Right, it is so soon.
Oh my God. Okay.
Honestly, getting married on a Disney cruise ship was the best thing ever.
Really?
100%, because you actually get married. I did this on Castaway Key. So your actual ceremony is on Castaway Key in the Bahamas, and it's amazing.
That is cool.
And then I had
your face.
and then at the after party at the cake, we had Mickey and Minnie and Donald and Goofy there as well.
Okay, so let's hope Matt is not watching this.
And it's about 10% of the cost of what it's going to be at Walt Disney World.
Well, that's the crazy thing is like there was just no options at Disney World. And I did look, but
that's the option.
That's crazy. Wow.
So anybody, Victoria, that's great.
Have two weddings.
Yes. Anybody who's looking into a Disney wedding, the secret is now, obviously right now with cruises and stuff, it's a little bit weird, but the secret is a Disney cruise wedding.
Interesting.
That's just good to know, though, for the future. Definitely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like when you renew your nuptials,
renew your vows.
There you go.
Wow, so good to know. I'm glad you told us that little secret.
I know. Thanks for sharing, Milo. We're learning about Butterbeer. We're learning about cruise weddings. We're covering it all. And okay, I feel like we would be remiss if we didn't talk a little bit more about wrestling.
We're wrestling?
Yeah, I'm a wrestler.
Just a little. We're gonna dabble. So you were recently part of a PBR commercial, which is kind of cool. How did this all come to be?
So I think the funny thing about that is that people don't realize. So it aired on Dynamite. What people don't realize is like we put that commercial out a month or two before that. We already had made that commercial. It was out, and what happened was. They went to go when Domino's pulled out of putting a commercial in AEW because there was too much blood or something like that.
The pizza cutter. Yeah.
Yeah. The pizza cutter. Yeah. So good. But the whole thing is hilarious to me.
Amazing.
PBR, they're really good with social media, and they hopped in and were like, we'll take that spot for next week. And so they were really busy like trying to film a commercial, and things just weren't lining up. And finally they said, you know what, screw it. We already have a commercial in the can. We filmed one at Matt and Chelsea's house for the Major Wrestling Figure podcast, because they sponsor the Major Wrestling Figure podcast. And they were like, do you mind if we just air that? And, you know, Matt and Brian and Hornswoggle and Smartmark, they're like, please, please. Like, and we didn't really think that this would actually happen. Then all of a sudden we're sitting there on Wednesday night. I think Matt and I were out for dinner. We were going on one of our date nights, and all of a sudden our phone was like, diddling, diddling. And we're like, oh my God, did it really air? No way that this commercial truly aired. Cause it was just like this fun thing that the boys came up with. And ended up being on national television for like 1 million people to see. Like,
wow.
Oh, that's
so
a cool girl, you know. That's so amazing.
The one thing now that I'm like, oh, bummer, is that I'm in a big part of the commercial, but like the guys tried to get me to party with them for the scenes of them partying. When
right.
It goes from boring to party, and I spray everyone with the party juice. But I had a broken arm at the time, and I hadn't got it casted or anything. I just had like a dangly, floppy, broken arm. And so I had to go take painkillers and sleep. So I missed all that party stuff, which I'm like, oh, well, now it's on national television. I wish I did it now.
Well, the next one, you know, you'll party for the next one.
How crazy is it? I mean, it's funny, like just some little like kind of passion project video ends up on, you know, one of the most watched shows of Wednesday night. It's wild.
It's pretty epic. I mean, I think epic is an understatement, but yeah, pretty awesome.
So
pretty
crazy.
awesome.
And now, are you all healed up now?
So I'm not, it's hard because I want to say I am, but unfortunately, like this is the third time breaking my arm, and I was fully cleared before it snapped. Like they did not expect this to ever happen again. So now I say this as I'm waving my broken arm around, but I'm supposed to keep my cast on for like 4 more months. Yeah, it's supposed to be on, unfortunately, instead of a month, it's supposed to be on 6 months now. So it is a part of me. It is not going anywhere anytime soon. I take it off and I let it breathe when I'm at home and doing stuff, just to like rehab it and be able to move it. But it is very untrustworthy.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I can imagine. Now, you just made your Ring of Honor debut at the ECW arena. What was it like performing in that building with such a rich history?
So I had performed once there before for House of Hardcore, and never forget, Kelly came out and helped me get the win, and I love Kelly. So it's hard to beat that moment, but I think that I may have beat it with this Ring of Honor debut. They were such an awesome crowd, and I felt that when I did my like promo debut on the pay-per-view. I really felt like they were awesome, but it was so different because it was such a big arena and everyone was split up. And this was everyone side by side, just like the good old days of an indie show. And I was actually wrestling. So it was awesome. I felt like I got all my confidence back that I felt like or thought I had lost.
Yeah. And well, one of the other things I wanted to mention, and I think it's actually this upcoming weekend, you're part of the NWA Women's Invitational. Is that this is this weekend, huh?
Yeah, I think so.
That is in a couple of days.
Oh, man.
Wow.
So that's pretty awesome because Ring of Honor, Impact, now NWA, you're kind of taking like the wrestling world by storm. It's incredibly impressive. And, you know, I feel like I have a special place in my heart, especially for all women's, you know, events and stuff. So what was it like being asked to be part of this first ever NWA Women's Invitational?
I mean, when I first saw that Mickey announced it, I texted her right away, like, I need to be a part of this. I have to. I obviously really hoped that I could wrestle Mickey, but that's just me being selfish. But I'm in the main event of an all women's pay-per-view. Like, I don't think you can get any better than that. And it's just really cool I just feel like we're at this amazing time in wrestling, and everyone is thriving. Everyone's doing their own things. You don't have to go the one route that we always had our entire life. Like there's so many other options. And, you know, when I got released, I said I was going to do it all. And I feel like NWA was that final like thing on my bucket list that I'm able to tick off. Like I've literally done it all now. There's nothing I haven't done. And I don't know that there's another female in the world that can actually say that. And that feels so freaking cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're doing
cool.
everything. I mean, you're even doing commentary for Ring of Honor. What is it? What is it like?
Trust me with that. Like, honestly, I'm like, every time I get on commentary, I'm like, man, I don't think I should be here, but they're not kicking me out, so I'm gonna stay.
It's scary, isn't it? Like, for me, like, I think I've done commentary like once or twice for FSCW, and I think I did it for like one of Gangrel's local shows. I like feel so scared, especially like listening to my own voice. Like,
it's really scary. I will say my podcast, starting the podcast has really like set me up to succeed in something like that, but I'm still learning and I'm not at all succeeding, but like at least with just me hearing my own voice and me kind of knowing when to shut up and all those things have definitely been handy, but I'm forever learning. It's really hard. And like the people that are on commentary doing actual commentary, because really what am I doing? I'm just chit chatting. And then when they tell me to you know, like
you're doing your job.
You are truly watching and like relaying everything while having me talk, while conversing with, and like it blows my mind. That's a whole nother skill that I'm trying, but I just don't know if I'll ever get it. I think you're born with it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I love to talk, but I don't think commentary is the spot for me. So more power to you. Good.
Yeah.
Break
you're
a
very
leg,
brave.
I think they say.
Well, thank you. And let's just hope like that I don't get canceled. I get canceled like every second week. And I'm just like on commentary. I'm like, God, pray I don't say anything that pisses somebody off.
Now you mentioned your podcast, Green with your Green, and congrats on your success on your Green with Envy podcast. Are there any podcasts that you listen to, obviously besides your own and besides, you know, the Matt's podcast as well?
I mean, I love podcasts. So I listen to, Billy and Peyton's or Cassie and Jess's Off Her Chops. I love that one. And I just like to support my friends, obviously. So even if it sucked, I'd still listen to it, but it's really good. And they're so great. Like they have great banter. And then I listen to Unqualified by, I think it's Anna Faris. So good. Yes. Yeah, and of course I listen to Call Her Daddy because that would be crazy if I didn't listen to Call Her Daddy.
Daddy gang,
absolute daddy gang for life. And I want to take her spot at Barstool, but that's, you know, well, I'm still manifesting that, still working on it. And then I've got like Lady Gang podcast, and I've got like crime, unsolved crime podcast, all sorts of things. Honestly, I don't discriminate when it comes to podcasts. Podcasts for me are like books. I just want someone to recommend something and I'll give it a go. And usually I like it.
That's awesome. Yeah, man, it is crazy what's happening with Alex Cooper. Like it's so wild.
It's like, crazy. And it just proves that like, there are like, you cannot put females in a box. And that's why, you know, a lot of things that I do, I try to step outside of like this wrestling box that people put me in. Like, I don't want to be put in that box. And like, especially in the past couple years when I had to be in that box because it was a publicly traded company, you know, it was like a company that you kind of have to paint inside the lines. Like now I'm like, no, fuck it. Like, I don't want to. I want to talk about whatever I want to talk about. And if I want to talk about embarrassing stories, or I want to talk about sex, or I want to talk about my relationship and the problems we go through, I'm going to. I don't need to be this perfect specimen of a human, you know? And I really feel like Call Her Daddy, like, I mean, she succeeded from talking about exactly what she wanted to talk about and what was authentic to her. And I just feel like in this life, we need to figure out what it is that is authentic to us. I mean, I'm still figuring it out and I'm still learning as I go. And I think you hear that on the podcast, but I mean, that's why she's going to make $60 million in 3 years.
Well, yeah, that's insane. One of the things I wanted to say when listening to your podcast is I really like your voice. I think you're like really easy to listen to. And I think that's such a big bonus because some people like, I'm like, okay, I like what they're covering, but I can't listen to them. You know what I mean? But is there like a topic that you don't think you'll ever cover? You're like, nope, this is too much. Can't do it, won't do it.
One thing that I struggle talking about is pooping.
I think that's
okay. I'm really bad. Like all my girlfriends know that like I'm one of those girls that I'm like, girls don't poop. I'm so bad. And it's funny. I talk about everything, but pooping I really struggle with. So maybe once I have a kid, it'll open me up to that. Talking about bowel movements, but right now I just really don't know that I can. However, I can talk about like peeing my pants and stuff like that. I can totally admit to things like that. But yeah, even Matt knows. Like he's like, I don't. You're this mysterious creature. Like, do you go to the bathroom? It's weird. I've always been this way, and like my whole family knows it too. So maybe that's off limits. But like, I mean, at some point I'm bound to run out of topics, and then maybe that'll be the topic.
Okay. So
I will say, as having a 1-year-old, that once you do, if you do have a kid, you will talk more about poop than you will talk about any other topic in your house.
And that's honestly what I hear from so many parents. So I agree. Like I do think that maybe will be the kind of key that unlocks the poop door.
The poop door. Okay, got it. Okay, pee good, poop bad. Got it. That's where we're at. Well, before we go into our game, because we do have a game, we wanted to ask about this. I'm not sure if it has a name yet. Maybe it does, but yet to be possibly named reality show that you possibly have coming out.
So I have no idea what I'm going to call it. This is something that I struggle with beyond belief. And I struggle with this with my podcast. Like a name is just so key. It just like when I lost 50 Shades of Green, I can't even tell you, it felt like my world came crashing down. Like, this is the only name I fell in love with. Right. So I haven't decided on the name yet, but I am working on what will be kind of like a travel exploring show about heading to the Florida beaches. And we actually just discussed possibly it being not just Florida, because obviously I'm traveling with work so much. But it's definitely not like some big production. Like it's not going to be on E, it's not going to be on Bravo, but at least it's something that I'm just opening people up to like my world, and you get to know me. And, you know, if it's something fun that I can bring to everybody and I mean, they like it, then cool. And if they don't like it, well, then I'll never do it again. And that's totally okay. I'll still go to the beaches. I'll still eat the food. I'll still explore. I just won't share it with people.
Well, we appreciate that you do want to share. And it reminds me almost of like, who had the show? Was it Brooke Burke with Travel On? And then Bridget Marquand had hers. It's like you're the
no, that's exactly what I want it to be like. Kind of like Bridget's show, like, you know, beaches and bikinis. And that's exactly the vibe.
Hell yeah. We're right there with, I love Bridget. She was always my favorite. But okay. So we have a game, Chelsea. This is a game of Would You Rather. There's no wrong answers.
Right.
So, but if you want to expand on why you picked something, you can. And if not, we'll move along to the next one.
God, I talk nonstop, so I feel like I'm going to expand on everything. So
then we shall expand. Milo, do you want to read the first one?
Yes.
Okay, here we go.
Would you rather ride the Tower of Terror 10 times in a row or drink 10 Batu blue milks in a row?
Definitely Tower of Terror, because one, it's one of my top favorite rides ever. I absolutely love it. Two, I love going up and down. Like those rides are my favorite. And three, I can't with the blue milk. I can't get down with it. And like 10, way too much. I can do maybe half of one.
Right.
What about the green?
Same. Like they don't entice me the way Butterbeer does or anything like that. I just can't do it. 10 beers? okay, maybe I could do that.
10 beers maybe, and then you're at the tower. Ooh, no.
And then I die, but that's okay.
What a way to go. All right, here's the next one. Would you rather be able to talk to animals like Snow White or have Elsa's ice powers?
Definitely be able to talk to animals. I'm such an animal person, and like I just like look into my dog's eyes. I'm like, what are you thinking? Like, I think I know what my dogs are saying, but the cats are really tricky.
Oh, because they're cats.
Absolutely. You never know how they're going to feel. One of my cats like attacks me out of nowhere and then cuddles me. It's very bizarre. So I want to know like what his deal is for sure.
That's interesting. Yeah. We have a hedgehog who is incredibly like moody. I don't know. Like he's, I don't know. I wish I could communicate.
I love hedgehogs.
Yeah. Vlad. He's
oh my God. That's amazing. Yeah. We need to know what Vlad's thinking.
I would love. And we have 2 sugar gliders, Beetlejuice and Bill, and they're just crazy. But we know what they're thinking. They just want food all the time.
Yeah, exactly. So. Well, that's what the dogs are thinking too, really.
All right. Mila.
All right. Would you rather compete in a King of the Mountain match or compete in a lethal lockdown match?
I think a lethal lockdown match. Yeah, and for no real reason, but like I'm just gonna go with a lethal lockdown match.
Okay, it's where.
But really, it's a toss up. I could probably flip a coin and be, yeah. I think I'm just gonna stick with my gut instinct. You know what I mean?
There you go. Got to go with your gut. Perfect. All right, here's the next one. Would you rather? Freaky Friday swap with Matt for a week or be able to read Matt's thoughts for a month?
Definitely read Matt's thoughts for a month, but I like know what he's thinking anyway, and he tells me everything. But I definitely don't want to swap with Matt for a week, so I'm good. I'm like totally fine with my life. I don't need to swap with him and like talk about toys and do like 10 hours of podcasting a week. So I'd rather read his thoughts.
Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure your DMs would be completely different too.
Yeah, I just know I'm good. I don't want to go on eBay 1,000 times a day.
All right. Okay, fair enough. All right, next one.
All right. Would you rather compete on Big Brother or compete on The Amazing Race?
Oh, this one's easy. 100% Amazing Race. I would go on it with my dad. We always watched it together. Well, I could go on with my sister too, but my parents are such like travelers and they instilled the travel bug in me really early. We moved to England when we were like 7 and I moved to Australia alone. So I know I could do Amazing Race for sure and with any member of my family.
That'd be fun. Big Brother seems terrifying. Like that would
especially nowadays, like again, like you just don't know what you're going to say that's going to come up 10 years from now that maybe like you thought was okay now. Like it's just really scary.
Facts. All right.
100%.
Next one. Is this one me, Milo? Am I reading
Yes.
the next one? Okay. Would you rather have your entrance music performed by the first band you ever saw live or have your wrestling gear based off the character in your favorite movie?
I think I would love to have my entrance performed by the first band I saw live because the first band I saw live was Shania Twain.
Ooh, yes.
And I love Shania. Like my entrance music is not at all Shania, but we could like twang it up a little and like dress like country-ish, and I could definitely get down with that.
Yeah. Which music video was she in the desert with like the leopard, or was it cheetah print with the
cheetah print and the hat and like the duster? She's amazing.
Yeah. She is everything.
So Shania Twain was your first concert. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's a good first.
So
that's a good first one.
Well, and especially because like I'm from an island in Canada, so it's not like we have a plethora of options of concerts to go to. We have to take a ferry to Vancouver and like it's a very big ordeal. So that was like a big thing to like leave the island and go to Shania Twain. I got a new t-shirt for it and everything.
I mean,
Victoria said
your choices were Shania Twain or Avril Lavigne. So
that's actually very true. And now it's funny. Like I've grown up and like I know people who dated Avril Lavigne and stuff. Like it's so weird.
Right. Well, and also Nickelback, right? Are they Canadian? No.
They're Canadian too. I mean,
Okay.
now Canadians got it good. Drake and Justin Bieber in the weekend, like,
I know. Not
we
bad.
didn't have that.
Not so
Drake
bad.
was still in Degrassi.
Degrassi. What? Oh, I love that show so much. Anyway, yeah, the song is That Don't Impress Me Much. So thank you. All right.
Great song.
Milo.
All right. Would you rather do a podcast based on conspiracy theories or a podcast based on murder mysteries?
Murder mysteries, because conspiracy theories sometimes make you look totally cuckoo and dumb. Like, I love conspiracy theories. I love hearing about them. But I just like murder mystery is more fact.
Okay.
And I think I thrive more with like facts, cold hard evidence. Love talking about conspiracy theories, but I need like a beginning, middle, and an end. You know what I mean?
Okay. That's an excellent choice. Excellent choice. And now our final question. Would you rather live on a houseboat or live in a treehouse?
Ooh. That's hard, because here's the thing, like I am such a water baby, but I do have to say that one of my fears is being trapped in an area that's filling with water.
Ooh,
Yeah, I've got this weird irrational fear. Like, it doesn't stop me from going on boats or anything, but like I think I would just prefer when I'm living and sleeping to sleep not in fear, and I think I would do that more in a treehouse.
You go treehouse. I like it. There was a ride, and maybe you guys can remind me. It used to be at, I want to say, Magic Kingdom, 20,000 Leagues.
Yes, 20,000.
Where you were like in the submarine, and like you were like surrounded by like you really went not too far under, because like when you look at pictures, like the ducks are swimming right next to you. But I could never do that ride for that reason, Chelsea. I was always so scared. The water was no.
Like a thing is going, like a thing's gonna pop and it's gonna start filling, and then you have to take like that one like and go swimming. So I think I have the fear because I had to take a ferry from my island to get to Vancouver. And in the, 30 years that I've been alive, I think it's only happened once or twice, but a car would drive onto the ferry and fall.
Oh, no, ma'am.
Yeah. And the thought of being in your car as it's filling up and you're trying to push the door open and you can't because of the water pressure. Yeah. I'm telling you, I have done all the research. I now know, just so anybody who's watching or listening, if that happens, unfortunately, you have to wait till the water is equally dispersed inside and out. Your car has to be full, and then you can open your car door with like a little more ease. But yeah, until then, you cannot push your door open.
Right. I also read that if you know you're about to sink, you should try to open your door as quickly as you can. My dad also gave me a thing that I keep in my car, which is like a little tool that is a seatbelt cutter. And it also is like a hammer that you can hammer out your window. Okay.
You need to text me that thing because I need it. I swear, I need it. That would make me feel like so much better just about everything. But when I drive onto the ferry, I roll all the windows down.
Smart. I would too. Life hacks, my friends.
Yeah.
Life hacks with Chelsea Green. Well, that was our game. This was our stream. This has been so much fun. We talked about food enough that I'm like, okay right now. Like, I'll be hungry in a few minutes. But
yeah,
I think
I'm hungry, but I'm not like drooling, you know what I mean? Ready for like a steak or anything.
Fair enough. Well, before we do wrap it up, any final thoughts you want to leave us with here?
I mean, I guess I just want to say that, like, the world is so negative right now and social media is so negative. So I really want to thank everybody who constantly supports me and sends me nice messages and has been kind of following my career, because I really do see it and I appreciate it. And we need more people like that in the world.
It's so true. And you're definitely one of them, Milo. I just appreciate your guys' energy. I'm a big energy person, and I only want to be around people with good, positive vibes. God, I sound like namaste.
Me too, though.
Yeah, no, it's why as we get older, I feel like we are given more opportunities to distance ourselves from the bad seeds. Yep. And that's like something that I've learned now that I'm like 35. I'm like, I don't have to deal with you if I don't want to. Like, shoot.
I agree. And I just feel like everybody needs to, if you don't have anything nice to say, I wish that you just wouldn't Say it.
Yeah. Why? Like, do you really think, like, what do you think you're going to accomplish? Honestly, like, what do you think you're doing? Troll.
Yeah, exactly.
Jerk. Annoying. Well, before we do wrap this up, we're going to go over our upcoming guests that we have on the live stream. So on Thursday, we have Matthew Embry from the RX Bandits. Next Tuesday, we have Greg Proops from Whose Line Is It Anyway? In September, we're welcoming back Casey Jost, who we just found out is writing the new script for the Ninja Turtles, which is pretty awesome. Later in the month, Patrick Stone from Butterside. And then we have Lee Ehrenberg, hello puppet. And then in October, we have Nick from Bayside. So we're just spreading it out. We're trying to keep this thing going. Obviously, make sure to tune into Chelsea's podcast. It's, it's so awesome. Congratulations. And we can't wait to see what's in store for you.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yay! Well, and I'm glad the weather worked out. And
Yes.
yay! All right, guys, we'll see y'all on Thursday. Au revoir.